Hello and welcome back to the channel where I provide daily cricket content on interesting topics. In today's video I run down my list of the scariest fast bowlers in cricket's history. Fast bowling has been a key component of a successful test side since the game's infancy. Sometimes however you get fast bowlers who are genuinely scary also. There are a few components that make up a scary bowler: pace, bounce and aggression. With those factors in mind, I have drawn up a list of who I believe are the scariest fast bowlers of all time. This video compiles bowlers 10 through to 6. So here goes. Number 10. Joel Garner. Joel Garner, also known as Big Bird, was a towering figure in the West Indies cricket team during the 1970s and 1980s. Standing at 6 feet 8 inches tall, Garner used his height and impressive pace to terrorize opposing batsmen. It was the bounce which Garner generated which made him particularly difficult for batters to face. His former captain at Somerset explained that his bounce made him impossible to play off the front foot for even full-pitch deliveries. If he decided to drop the ball just short of a good length, it would rear up at batsmen, forcing them into evasive action. He took 259 wickets in his Test career at an average of 20.97, and his best bowling figures was 656. Garner was an integral part of the West Indies team that won the Cricket World Cup in 1979. Number 9. Harold Larwood. I am going back in time for this selection and it goes against some of my usual rules for picking lists. Generally speaking, I like to choose players from a more modern era as there is video footage to review and the sport was more global, leading to higher standards. But for Harold Larwood I make an exception. Larwood was not your classically intimidating figure, standing only 5 feet 4 inches tall, almost unheard of by today's fast bowling standards. But he was quick and he was nasty, earning him a place on my list. On his first tour of Australia he had heard critical remarks from Aussie batsman Bill Ponsford. Larwood then decided to target him in his first opportunity, not only dismissing him cheaply twice but also breaking his finger in the process. It was the Bodyline tour of 1932 which really put Larwood on the map, when pre-planned hostile bowling was employed to target Bradman and others. In the first test Larwood dismissed Bradman cheaply in both innings and ended up with match figures of 10 for 124. It was the third test however which really showed the teeth of Bodyline, with Wisden describing it as the most unpleasant test match ever played. Larwood batted the Australians, including incapacitating the Australian captain for 7 minutes after striking him in the heart. He finished that series as the leading English bowler, taking 33 wickets at an average of 19.5 and was forever enshrined in cricketing folklore. How many other bowlers can lay claim to leading to changes to the rules of cricket after all? Number 8. Michael Holding. Another West Indies great comes into the list at number 8. Michael Holding could almost be allotted his space off the back of one of the most terrifying nicknames in sport. For those that don't know, Holding was known as Whispering Death and he was one of the most fearsome fast bowlers of all time. He played for the West Indies from 1975 to 1987, taking 249 wickets in 60 tests at an average of 23.68. Holding had a smooth and rhythmic run-up, and he could generate immense pace and bounce with his high arm action. His best bowling figures of 8 for 92 came against England in 1976. Holding was inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame in 2009. Possibly Holding's most terrifying spell was against England at Old Trafford in 1976. Holding led the Windies attack in brutalizing the English batsmen in what has been described as one of the most hostile spells of bowling ever. Whispering death indeed. Number 7. Alan Donald. Alan Donald, also known as White Lightning, was a key member of the South African cricket team during the 1990s. He played 72 tests and took 330 wickets at an average of 22.25. Donald was a fierce competitor, and he could bowl at high speeds with accuracy and swing. He was particularly effective in overseas conditions, and his best bowling figures of 871 came against Pakistan in 1998. Donald was inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame in 2019. Donald had a number of terrifying spells, but the one that comes to mind for me is against Michael Atherton in 1998. In the second innings at Trent Bridge when England were chasing 247, Donald opened the bowling. In a hostile spell from the start, Donald thought he had Atherton caught behind off his glove, only for the umpire to decide he was not out. Donald was enraged and then set about punishing Atherton in what both described as the most intense cricket of their careers. In an interesting twist, Atherton later gave his glove, which the ball flicked to Donald to help raise money for his benefit year. Number 6. Joffer Archer. Joffer is the youngest out of my top 10, but he has already made a name for himself in a short period of time. Archer is not one to growl at or verbally abuse batsmen like some others in the list. If anything, he is quite mild-tempered. But what Joffer brings to the table is an action almost designed to surprise and hurt batsmen with short-pitched bowling. Joffer bowls from incredibly close to the stumps, like Sean Pollock used to, making it hard for batsmen to step inside short balls. He also has what has been described as an incredibly fast wrist, meaning that with effort balls he is able to surprise batsmen and crank up his speed substantially. Batsmen have a split second to react but have often been pinned before realizing it was an effort ball. From a short run-up, Archer is able to generate speeds in and around 95 miles per hour and has been noted for his ability to hit batsmen time and time again. His spell against the courageous Steve Smith in the Ashes in 2019 is a reminder to even the best batsmen in the world that Joffer is extremely dangerous with a ball in his hand. He has recently just returned to international cricket, and although fans may hope he stays injury-free, opening batsmen may think otherwise. That concludes the first half of my top 10 scariest bowlers in cricket. Hit me up in the comments with who you think have to be included in the top 5. I have my list already, but who knows, you may convince me to make a last-minute alteration. Thanks for watching, everyone.